Hi, this is Dr. Kurt Wohler for the Clostridia Mastery course. The title of this short video is Clostridia, Bacteria, and the Microbiome. So the Clostridia Mastery course is offered through Integrative Medicine Academy, which is an online training academy in different functional and integrative medicine courses. For a full list of our courses, please go to integrativemedicineacademy.com or email us with questions at integrativemedicineacademy@gmail.com. So we know that the microbiome plays a big role in overall health, not digestive health, and that the microbiome is a collection of different microorganisms that normally live within our digestive system. So I like this definition of the microbiome, a characteristic microbial community occupying a reasonably well-defined habitat which has distinct physiochemical properties. The term thus not only refers to the microorganisms involved, but also encompasses their theater of activity. And so that theater of activity is, again, not just within our digestive system, but influences the rest of our body, including our brain nervous system, our mitochondria, and our immune system. And so obviously the topic of the microbiome is very complex and can become very in-depth. But if we just keep in mind that a better diversity of the microbiome, the better or more diversity we have in optimal function of our biochemistry. And that biochemistry can be involved again in the brain nervous system, in how we regulate immune function, in how our immune system develops, in how we process food stuff that gets converted into metabolic fuel within the mitochondria. And something I actually didn't know until studying this topic more in depth was that the microbiome plays a big role in what's called intestinal angiogenesis, so the formation of new blood cells. It helps in the promotion of fat storage, which is actually needed to help protect our organs, particularly within the abdominal cavity. And of course, we know that the microbiome plays a role in the synthesis of vitamins. What's also important is the mucus layer. So there are cells like goblet cells that produce mucus, and the thicker that mucus layer we have, and the more robust it is with different immune chemicals like secretory IgA, the greater that we're going to have the ability to buffer against pathogenic organisms. But when that mucus layer starts to diminish, whether it's because of lack of production or injury, for example, of those epithelial cells, we have a thinner mucin layer, which means there is the potential for more antigen presentation to different dendritic cells, which are lining the digestive system. And if we have ongoing inflammation, we know that that inflammation can cause leaky gut. And when we have a leaky gut scenario, we have increased intestinal permeability, and then various antigens, whether it's a food antigen, a fungal antigen, a bacterial antigen, whatever, can now more easily gain access to the lymph system as well as the blood system, which is then going to engage the immune system even more. And you can actually test for intestinal permeability. There's a number of labs that have the intestinal permeability test. As we can see in this particular case, somebody's got massive leaky gut because they're not only absorbing lactulose, which is a very large molecule, but they're also absorbing mannitol at very high amounts. So that intestinal barrier, the tight junctions between the epithelial cells, are quite compromised. Now that can occur because of many different pathogens, including Clostridia difficile, or just Clostridia bacterial infections in general, but difficile for sure, because difficile produces various virulence factors like toxin A and B, which damage the lining of the digestive system, break down the tight junction, increase intestinal permeability, and then increase antigen presentation to the immune system. And so that can drive different immune responses, including that of what's called the Th17 T regulatory system. So for example, when we have intestinal homeostasis, we have high T regulatory cells that keep things like Th17 cells in check. The Th17 is part of our adaptive immune system that helps with mucosal surveillance along the mucosal lining of the digestive system. When we have increased increased Th17 cell activity, we have usually some type of infectious process that is driving that reaction. That could be fungal and or bacterial, including Clostridia difficile. And Th17 will actually lead to a depletion or a decrease in T regulatory cells. And so again, if we have a Clostridia difficile infection that's doing this, promoting this, not only are we driving more inflammation because of Th17 production, but we're also then leaving these Clostridia difficile organisms unchecked in some regards to release their damaging toxins, which then further compromise the intestinal barrier. And when you start discussing the immune system more in depth with regards to these infections, well, we know that the adaptive immune system is triggered by the innate immune system. The dendritic cells, or the antigen-presenting cells that line the digestive tract, are part of the innate immune system, and they deliver their antigen message to a naive T cell. And based on the delivery mechanism and different chemicals that are produced and co-stimulatory activity, if we've got some type of extra bacterial infection or a fungal infection, for example, along the mucosal lining of the gut, we're going to get an increase in Th17 activity. And that actually is a major mechanism of autoimmune reactivity that can occur. And one of the problems is when we get an increase of Th17 cell reactions, we get a decrease in T regulatory cell activity. And that can lead to a decrease of immune tolerance and lymphocyte homeostasis. So it compromises other aspects of the immune system. So it's in a very important relationship to understand that it's not just what's happening in the gut, it's what the gut is then responding to and how the gut is interacting with the immune system that creates problems throughout the body. Now we get into this information in great detail and many other topics of interest in our Clostridia Mastery course that's offered through Integrative Medicine Academy. This is a 6-module in-depth course on functional and integrative medicine concepts that are linked to various Clostridia bacterial infections and the problems that can ensue from those infections. Now, we talk a lot about Clostridia difficile, but there are other Clostridia that can produce other types of toxic compounds as well. Many of them are detected through organic acid testing that affect the brain and nervous system. So for more information, go to clostridiamasterycourse.com. Now, again, this course is offered through Integrative Medicine Academy. For a full list of our courses, please go to integrativemedicineacademy.com or email us at integrativemedicineacademy@gmail.com. Again, I'm Dr. Kurt Wohler for Integrative Medicine Academy. Thank you.